Jamaica and New Caledonia were also fighting for a spot in this summer's showpiece. That was last night. The two teams were meeting in Guadalajara in Jalisco state, which saw most of last month's cartel violence. And since it's the first time a major international match has been held in Mexico since the recent unrest, well, the game has seen as a key test of security ahead of the World Cup. Last month, in the country's west, retaliatory cartel attacks have killed at least 25 members of the National Guard and one security guard, according to Mexico's security minister, who said 30 cartel operatives were killed as well as one bystander. Well, earlier, I caught up with Adam Henhock. He's a journalist based in Mexico City, and I asked him about the atmosphere on the ground ahead of this World Cup. We started by talking about this game, though, between Jamaica and New Caledonia, a game that Jamaica won 1-0 to keep alive their hopes of a first World Cup appearance since 1998.
They were heavy favourites going into the game, but it's been a pretty tight contest, actually. And it's quite remarkable, really. New Caledonia, 150th in the world in the FIFA rankings. They've barely played in recent months. The league back in New Caledonia has been disrupted for a long time because of some of the violence and the protests that have been taking place there, and largely made up of sort of semi-professional amateur players. But they've put in a great performance against Jamaica, but ultimately the quality just shone through with Wrexham's Bailey Cademartera was the scorer in the first half. That means that Jamaica will go into the final now, where they will face DR Congo in Guadalajara next week. And that will be a winner-takes-all to get to the World Cup.
They've got one last game to play, indeed. Adam, you are in Mexico City. Tell us, 3 months ahead of the World Cup now, how is it? Are people there excited or nervous? What have you gathered from people you have spoken to? There's been recent unrest in Mexico. How's the situation there?
Yeah, I think overall it is excitement, to be honest. Obviously, it was literally just over a month ago that we saw the cartel violence really flaring up after El Mencho, who was a very notorious drug lord here in Mexico. He was killed by the authorities. And there was a lot of concern at that time. The worst of the violence was in Jalisco State, which is where Guadalajara is. Obviously, World Cup games are going to be taking place there. And it certainly wasn't a good look for Mexico. The scenes on the news, buses being burnt, roadblocks being set up. Obviously, concerns for people who are going to be travelling here in the summer. The president has been adamant that the World Cup will go ahead here and it will be safe. She's talking about deploying up to 100,000 members of the security forces during the tournament to keep people safe. And I think these games in Guadalajara over the next few days during these playoffs are a real good security test for Mexico. The game this evening, by all accounts, has been absolutely fine in terms of security issues. So I think, cartel violence has long been an issue here in Mexico. People, Mexicans are used to it. It does flare up from time to time. But I think the hope is that because of the international focus on the World Cup, because of the increased security presence, that hopefully the tournament will pass off without any issue. And I think that excitement is now starting to build. You can feel it. You're starting to see a lot more Mexico shirts on the streets. There's in restaurants and cafes, they're starting to put flags up and things like that. So there's just a general sense that a big tournament is coming. People love football here. It's a football mad nation. And I think excitement really is building rather than too many concerns about violence and problems like that. So
it does feel like a country that is ready to have the words eyes on it.
Absolutely, yes, absolutely. And even this weekend as well, the iconic stadium here in Mexico City, it's reopening. It's been renovated, and it's a huge arena. 87,000 when full. I think it's the largest stadium in Latin America, and it's actually going to become the first stadium to host 3 World Cup opening matches, which is quite an incredible thing. But they're going to have a bit of a showpiece friendly against Portugal on Saturday evening. And that is going to be a sort of huge occasion here in Mexico City. So I think that's going to help with the build up as well, because it just all starts to feel a bit more real and a bit more like it's on the way and around the corner.
Adam Hancock speaking to Sarah Manai there.